We are entering times of massive change here upon the earth, where all the feelings that we have known take a backseat to a new concept. Well, relatively new. Old as the hills, old as creation itself, but a new concept just the same, called love. We are experiencing an expansion of what we call heart, meaning this thing called love, of which we are created, which has become our life, and the person that we are, and all the other persons we see and know that gather around us and so on. This love, this life, is expanding inside of us from a center place inside of our chest, which is called the heart, which is the center of all consciousness, the place from which all conscious beings grow and become that which they truly are. Now, in order to understand this expansion into love, this consciousness, we're going to have to give up a lot of our old feelings and become aware of what our true feelings are. And in this state, we find what we call forgiveness. And this is not just saying to someone, "Oh, you stole from me, I forgive you," now that it's all over and done with. Something far more significant than this is occurring in this state of conscious expansion into love. And that is, we are seeing into our life and many of the awkward moments there, and healing the effects of those awkward moments. We go through this in stages and steps. A little hindsight, as they say, can go a long way. And therefore, we go back even to the beginning of our life and see the trauma that we incurred there, and begin to view that from a different perspective, from what we call a higher perspective, and understand the agreements that were put in motion before we even came here as spirit children and began this experience we call humanity, which is indeed an expansion into conscious love, by accepting a state of unconsciousness for quite some time and living through it through many, many generations of time, living in this compact little body we call people, which is still, again, as are all the animals of the air, the birds, the trees, the plants, the flowers, all of creation, an expression of the conscious love of the center heart, which exists inside of you. And as you begin to see this concept, even at the beginning of your life, you begin to understand what true forgiveness is, and that is seeing the higher purpose that is served in every life that is lived, whether it be a saber-toothed tiger or yourself, or anything in between you and that ancient old beast. Now, of course, as you go through this process, you swing through many highs and lows, for we are correcting feelings that were truthfully implanted within us by others around us as we began to grow from this little baby and experience this that we call living. Many fears have arisen. Other entities have attached themselves to us. And in many of you, there has been actual physical implants placed within you to restrict your consciousness. And yes, even this effect, whether you remember it or not, imposed upon you, is beginning to heal now. And where there was conscious effort to restrict you, to keep you low, and thinking very little of yourself, and therefore spending your life compensating for these low feelings in one form or another. And good grief, our imaginations can sure find a lot of ways to express that. And instead of going there, now we see these moments from this higher perspective, And because we can see that, because we can begin to view that, then we let go of the traumas, the fears, the implantations, even those that were imposed upon you, as we say, physically. And you begin to see and know yourself in a completely different light. And this is truth arising within you. An end, an elimination of pain, which is the conflict with truth. Whether it's expressed in some physical form inside of you, or simply a pain that you feel in your soul, your heart. It's a letting go of the conflict we feel, and the answer, the resolution to the ancient old question inside that's been bothering us since we were little babies. That gnawing hunger, that emptiness that never seems to leave us alone, yet leaves us feeling alone always. It is in this time that we feel that, for we understand and receive the true form of our consciousness. And because of this, we are joined with many different beings from throughout the galaxies and the worlds that we see surrounding us in this matrix of love that we call universe, which is only a bauble on an even larger tree, of course. And through this conscious expansion, we begin to experience our lives through other beings' eyes. And we are awakened to some rather dynamic aspects of ourselves and begin to realize the true power of our heart, now that we have found this state of forgiveness. We have seen the truth of our life and our living, and we no longer contain the guilts and fears, the inadequacies, that gnawing feeling. And as we become free of that gnawing feeling and realize our association with all life living, that consciousness expands. And we invite all life living, all that is conceived in love, to come be with us here, to join us in this effort. It's an invitation that comes right from the center of your heart and emotes outward, then touches significantly every life living around you and expanding out throughout the universe. So those who are key here, those who can truthfully help, those who are key here, these come now at your invitation, and much help is received throughout the realms of life, including those beings that are called angelic. And don't worry. Don't let these fears of those who seem fallen, that seem to live in these same realms, those who may have dabbled with you as a child, and still continue to this day. Don't worry. Send this love and light their way. This dabbling that they have done becomes inconsequential in comparison to the help that you receive at this moment of invitation. Open your heart then. Let yourself see through the center of your own consciousness, that place in the center of the chest, the center of your forehead, that vibrates outward. The energy that you feel in your hands, as you become conscious of the powers that flow through them. And you begin to understand a whole new way of being. You are being prepared to live once again. Live as you never have before. Be open then. Let this invitation come through you. And we guarantee you will find a life worth living. With much love, we give you this tiny transmission to encourage you through these beginning stages.